Hello guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Regan's Rugby Strength and Conditioning. Got another cool guest for you today. He's actually a client of mine. His name's Craig. He's made some massive progress in the last couple of months, and basically I thought it would be a good way to get someone on to sort of talk about the journey they've gone through, what they were doing before, the results on the program. Just a quick overview. He's lost 3 stone so far. I think it's been 4 months, four or 5 months.
4, I think it's 4.
4 months, so
Yeah.
He's smashing it, and I think he's a cool chap, and I think we've got a few cool things to talk about. So cheers, Craig, for giving us some of your time. Why don't you tell these guys a bit about you, where you're from, and all that kind of jazz?
Okay. I'm 36. I live in Glasgow, well, just outside Glasgow, up in Scotland. I've got 2 kids. I work as a solicitor up here. It's pretty busy family life and work. I did play rugby for most of my life, actually, since I was 6 years old until I was 32, 33 years old. So lots of good memories, fond memories of that, and lots of kind of knowledge around training and stuff, but kind of always struggled with my weight, being up and down, and I've always struggled with the challenges that come with that. My youngest is 4 now, full of life and full of energy, so really knuckling down now that she's turned, well, since she was 3.5 to 4, trying to knuckle down and really lose some weight so as I can keep up with her.
Cool. And then I think you just said just before we hit record that you stopped playing about 3 years ago due to an injury.
Yeah, I stopped playing. I think the injury was the straw that broke my rib. I think in terms of playing rugby, my wife was wanting me to give up for a wee while because it was, if people know, if the rugby players, training twice a week, and a game on a Saturday in the league I played in on Saturday wasn't like a regional one or anything like that. So it was the second top league in Scotland that we played in. So it was a national league. So
like a championship?
Yeah. So like.
Oh, really? Wicked.
Top one and then the one below.
Oh, I didn't know that. Awesome.
Yeah, so I was all right.
That's good. I didn't know that.
I could chuck the ball around a bit. But yeah, so you could be in 1 week, you could be in Aberdeen, which is about 3.5 hours from Glasgow on a coach. Or the next day you could be down in Melrose, or Gala down in the Borders the next week. So it was a huge time commitment, and asking a lot from my wife to look after the kids that amount of time. It was a full Saturday effectively if you're away in your game and then back at maybe 9 o'clock at night. So suffered an injury, broke a rib, and took quite a lot of time to recover. And during that time, I couldn't really participate in looking after my wee girl and whatnot because you can't. Broke a rib before, as soon as you laugh or sneeze or cough, never mind lifting a wee girl and trying to, do anything with her. So that kind of put the brakes on my whole rugby career and whatever. Perhaps a few years sooner than I would have liked, but I had a good run at it, great times, and played a lot of good rugby, so pretty happy.
My Facebook is buzzing in the background. It's making noises and annoying me. Cool. And then, one with the travel, I had a client who was in Orkney, which is one of the islands off the north tip. And
yes.
he said that some trips, I don't know what level that was compared to you, but some trips it would have to be overnight because they'd get a ferry in the morning. It might be 4-hour coach to the other side, play the game, shower. If you're ready to leave at 5, the last ferry was like 2 hours away. So you had to stay over.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge for the island teams, but I don't think too many islands have a team, but Orkney definitely do. I played them in a cup, but it was a home game. But thankfully it was a home game. I don't know if I could be bothered with that. The thing for the challenge for them as well is in the winter, often the ferries are cancelled and stuff like that.
Are they?
Yeah.
He said it's a real tight-knit group because it's just the guys that have lived there. So it's just the island boys. They've all sort of grown up and stuff. He said it's a good club to play for.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then so I didn't know you played high standards. That's semi-professional. Have you got played to play?
No. Some players, like so we brought imports in, Kiwis and South African folk and whatever. And they would be set up with a job and they would get a couple £100 a week or whatever.
Okay.
But no, homegrown talent. We just played because it was our club and stuff.
Sure. Right.
So yeah.
And then so if you played pretty high level rugby, Were you front row?
Yes.
Yes.
Play
So
anywhere in the front row.
anywhere, cool. And then so how was the weight sort of before and after injury? Was it injury happened and you packed it on, or is it just kind of the same and you were less of an athlete with the same weight?
No, when I was much younger, I really struggled with weight as well. But then as I moved into adult and senior rugby, kind of really dropped quite a bit of weight, quite a drastic weight. I think maybe before moving into like really competitive senior rugby, I was kicking around 23 stone, 23, 24 stone. And then I lost a lot of weight down to about 16 stones. And then when I was
That's a
playing
big
kind of
change.
high level rugby or high-ish level, I was kicking around about the 17 stone mark, which I found was a great kind of weight for me in terms of being able to carry that for the full 80 minutes, in terms of being strong enough for a front row player, powerful enough. I found that was a really good weight. And most of that, most of my going forward from that point, I kicked around that 17 and a half stone. And then just through various things, just kind of then started to weight creep on until maybe around about 30, when I was 30 years old, kind of really started to pile weight on. And then post-injury, just never really did a lot of training, never really kept up a lot of training, any kind of consistency. And weight crept on again up until 22 and a half stone roundabout again, which is where I started. That's the weight I started roughly at the programme. We started, that's where I started the programme at with you.
So after the rugby and a few other things, the weight sort of crept up until we spoke last year, I guess.
Yeah, in between that, I tried, various things. Tried Weight Watchers, which is all right for nutrition wise, but the way they do things, I think it's a wee bit mystical. Like, you get points for a day, and you can eat points, and some foods are free of points. So, although they say you can't eat as much as you want, you can eat a good amount of that. And then I always found that difficult to understand, because how many calories is that? I don't know. Like a chicken breast is free or no points.
3 points.
Yeah, it's free, no 3.
Oh,
so
3,
no,
sorry. Okay,
no points. But I'm pretty sure if you ate a full chicken, it would still be a lot of calories. So I found Weight Watchers quite in terms of how they do points and things, quite a difficult thing to wrap my head around. And then there's no real help with, although you can track activity, I didn't find there was really any help with what to do, when to do it, how to do it, in terms of exercise or getting involved in an exercise program. So yeah, that never really worked for me. And then I would try like ridiculously low calorie meal replacement shakes, things, or just having like 2 protein shakes a day before my dinner at night, which may well have led to quite a drastic reduction in weight over quite a short period of time. But it was never something I could stick to for any great period of time. So then you might lose 16 pounds in a month, but 20 pounds in a month, but you just fire it all back on as soon as you stop doing it. So definitely had a lot of up and down kind of diets where hit it really hard, but then it wasn't something I could stick to or be consistent with.
Sorry, go on, mate.
No, you go.
I was going to say, one of my pet peeves is these meal replacement shakes. I'm doing air quotes if you're listening on the podcast, because a meal replacement shake should not be in existence. No meal should be replaced by a shake. Supplements should supplement your diet. They don't replace your diet. I had a pop-up for the Huel ad yesterday. I almost screenshotted it and did a little rant, because it's like only £1.20 per meal. It's like, it's not a fucking meal. You're just putting some powder in. It's not teaching you about the nutrition. It's not teaching you to cook healthy meals. It's not teaching you about monitoring anything. You're just replacing meal 1 and meal 2 with fucking powder and water, which also is not very filling. Like, you're going to be fucking hungry.
I can
and then
vouch for that.
and your dinner is probably exactly the same, right? They might tell you, have a normal dinner.
Yeah, I just say just have a normal dinner, but you're lucky then if you're 500 calories. I don't know how many calories are in a shake, but you're lucky if you were touching 800, 900 calories a day. which might be, show you good results in the short term, but it's
Mhm.
not something you can stick to.
Mhm.
It's not practical.
And it doesn't teach you anything. It's like this Herbalife thing. Again, it's to take the shakes and you'll get results on it. But once you stop paying the money, once you stop getting the products, your weight is going to come on because you don't know what a good breakfast is. You don't know what a healthy lunch is. You don't know how to cook. And so it's kind of almost a perfect business model. You're going to come on, lose loads of weight in a month or two, come off, put it back on. Oh, that was really good. I'm going to go back there. And so it's just floating in and out. And where the consistency is what people need, and learning good habits, which is why I ask everyone joining my plan to commit for 3 months, because you learn things, you're committed to longer. It's about implementing sort of lifestyle changes, and it means you can carry it on after, which is the best thing. And just one thing about Weight Watchers, I know it works and people have done it and you can get big change, but not the only benefit. But I think the big benefit of the community we've got here is it's all rugby guys, a few girls who have sort of played a bit, not happy with their weight, and it's everyone in there is the same as you. Whereas I'm guessing, Craig, if you went to these meetings, they weren't all people like you. It might have been an old ladies meeting.
You could pretty much guarantee there was nobody else like me in the meeting, because it was probably 99% women for a start, and probably 75% over 40, over 40 years old, over probably even 50 years old, kind of, older women who haven't exercised really, or probably, or nothing in common with them to chat about. And they do have this online platform where you can go on and chat, but I just found that a bit dreary and stuff like that. Like, very much, I'm just going to go on with a real moan and bitch about my life, and really it came across as a lot of excuses, as opposed to anything that was motivational in any kind of way, or anything that I shared in common with anybody. So I didn't really engage in that chat with Weight Watchers folk.
I've heard it works, and I know the resources are okay, but most of the guys, they prefer guys like them, and we've got a little group of guys. Good.
Yeah, I'd say that's better, having people with things in common for you to talk about. Yeah, definitely.
So I got kilos, you've got stone. Started at 23 stone, which is 142 kilos.
Yeah.
What was the date? What month was that last year?
I think October last year. I don't know why the 16th of October's in my head, but
I've got your profile open in the background. I'm going to go and look for the exact date. First weigh in on my plan was 139 kilos, 1st of October, but you were 142 the week before, or something like that. Do you remember?
Yeah, because I had kind of made a start myself before finding your plan. So yeah, it was around 142 kilos or something like that. I started my journey at. And then when was the first weigh-in date with you?
The first weigh-in was
1st of October.
Thursday the 1st, and the first weigh-in was 139, and you were a bit more before that. Yeah. So tell the peeps what you weigh today.
123 kilos, which is 19 stone 5.
So 23 to 19 stone 5, or for the kilos, 142 to 123.
Yeah.
Fucking smashing it, mate.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It feels really good. Like, the difference is great, and people are saying to me now, like in the street, I was walking past somebody in the street earlier I've not seen since lockdown started, and he's like, "Fuck hell, I didn't even realise that was you." When I was walking past him in the street, So, and like, it's great. It feels brilliant. It feels really good, and it just gives you the motivation to kind of keep going as well. So it feels really good. All my clothes fit so much better. All my golf trousers don't fit me now, so I'm going to need to get a whole new golf wardrobe when the time comes.
I got a message from a client, an ex-client, Martin. We stay in touch, and he said the only downfall is that he needs completely new rugby stuff and completely new gym gear. I was like, sorry, mate. Sorry,
that's not a downfall.
Sorry, we made such good progress.
Yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned the clothes a bit, but what is there anything else that's sort of like really beneficial that you're really noticing compared to when you were before? Anything that was, and I'm not going to put ideas in your head.
Well, one of the big motivators was from playing with my little girl, and we just play like for ages now, and it doesn't feel like it's a chore. I don't think, I'm going to have to go and play and lie on the floor and all that stuff. It sounds like a small thing, but given how much time we spend together, especially during lockdown, to be able to have so much more energy to do stuff with her, going out, playing football, running around the garden. She joins in with my exercise programs, although she's decent at squats, but she can't do a burpee yet. But yeah, just all that stuff, getting her involved in stuff I'm doing is really satisfying and really good. Something I really enjoy, getting her involved and being able to play and do stuff with her that I used to dread. Because picking 23 stone up off the floor is quite a hard thing to start with, never mind anything else. So yeah.
And then you went up for a run with your son this morning, you just told me.
Yeah, he's 13. And he's feeling the effects of lockdown because he used to play football twice a week in box. So he's sitting up the stairs getting a wee bit down on himself because he's not doing so much activity. So because I'm out doing that, I'm setting an example for him. And so this is the third week that I'm dragging him round with me, that I've been taking him out runs with me as well. So, it's something I hadn't even thought about. It's an example for him because he wants to come with me. And we did 4Ks, did a 4K run, and then time we walked back to the house, walked out about 6Ks we did this morning. So that feels good that I'm an example for him and I can go out and do that instead of joining him sitting in the house just watching the telly. So that's been good that I can help him feel a wee bit better about himself as well.
And what do you think has been the most useful part of it? Because there's a few things that we sort of cover on the program, but what's been the main thing that's maybe helped you keep it going from where you were before to now, and obviously the longer term goals we've even set?
I think it's we've kind of maybe spoke about it before, but having a wee bit of trust and faith that things are going to work. Because being where I was, like our overall kind of goals are around about losing about 6 stone, maybe a wee bit more than 6 stone. And see, when you think about that on day one, it's a real difficult to get your head around how I'm going to get there. And really, in the past, when I've tried before, it's maybe been thinking that I'll never get there, so maybe never try. Or now that I'm kind of halfway to where I want to be, not thinking to myself, oh, that's that kind of job done, and slipping back, which is what I've done before as well. That's why I'm always kind of up and down, because I think, oh, well done, Craig, give yourself a pat in the back, and then just slip into kind of habits that I used to have before. Whereas now, I don't think I need to lose 7 pounds or 8 pounds in a week. I know that if I just stick to the plan, do my exercise, eat properly, and I'm going to see a result on the scale, which will maybe, I think I lose about 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds a week to my kind of my range. But I know that if I keep doing that for 10 weeks, that's going to be nearly 2 stone, rather than thinking I need to lose a stone in 2 weeks. I just have more faith in the fact that if I just keep going, then I'll get to where I want to be, as opposed to try and manage it all in one go or something, if you know what I mean. So that's the biggest thing for me, is just put my faith in that if I do what's on the app, workouts and eat properly, then I'll get to where I want to be, just keep going.
And I think as your training has been pretty consistent, you've been pretty perfect at sending me all your food, at doing pretty much all the workouts. And then this week was not a hiccup, but a tiny change, because for the first time in 4 months, the weight didn't drop. And basically, after we spoke just before this call, he told me that Friday night was a little bit of a binge and Saturday night was a bit of a binge, which was just more than he normally does. And the weight was even for the first time in 4 months. But it just shows to us that if there's 2 nights out a week, you will not progress on the scale body weight wise. And that was a one-off, right? You don't even normally have one night off. It's not really off. You kind of have you have maybe a bigger meal that you fancy rather than something that's on the plan.
Yeah, like so when we get a cheat meal, which I generally have on a Friday or a Saturday, it's not, I treat it as one meal. I don't see it as an excuse to kind of peck or nibble all day and then have a big meal. And even that we were saying, even my cheat meals generally aren't from a takeaway shop. it's generally something that I've cooked in the house, maybe a couple of big steak burgers with some bacon and whatever on them, but then firing on salad and stuff like that on there as well, lettuce, tomatoes, onions. But that's been more my cheat meal. But that weekend there, I had a Chinese from a takeaway shop and I had loads of pizza. So yeah, it wasn't the result I wanted to see. But I think even from that I take that I don't see the weight never shifted. But because I've got the faith that I've built up in things and the consistency that I've built up before, I know that before when I've been trying to lose weight, if I've seen like a bit of a plus or this weight stay the same, that would maybe really be disheartening, demotivating for me. But because of the resilience I've built up over the past 4 months and the faith I've got in the plan, I know that that's been a hiccup, but I'm straight back on it this week. And vlogged all my foods, vlogged all my training's done this week, and I know that I'll probably progress again next week. So I'm really trying not to beat myself up about it. That's because I know that I'll get back on track, and I'll progress next week.
And hiccups happen, and probably everyone that I train, at least one point the weight won't change, or it'll be a little increase. And if you've entered all of the data that I can see, we can normally find out why. And when you're doing it on your own, you'll forget that you had a few extra beers. You forget you had a snack every night, and then the weight you might have gone up. You might have gone up the next week, and then you're thinking, "Oh shit, this is fucking waste of time. See you later," and quit. But the best thing is that getting someone to commit for a longer amount of time, and obviously that we can figure out why it is. We can obviously say, "Don't worry about it. Wipe the slate clean, and let's just carry on from now." Which happens to, I think, everyone that I train at least once. And that's a part of it. It's not going to be plain sailing. It's not like weight loss. If you're watching the video, it's not like steady decreasing chart. There's up, downs, and big drops and little things. As long as at the end, you're going from whatever weight you want to be, steady downwards generally to the end goal, then that's the key thing.
Yeah.
And obviously I want to welcome you to tell anyone if the challenges that might be from online coaching. So is there anything that you wish there was, or any part where you think, "Oh, this can be improved"?
I don't know. It's a difficult one from my point of view, because I've had pretty regular and good success for things so far. One of the best things, and we've spoken about it, is the call that we have every week, and that keeps me accountable. I think that's one of the good things, is being accountable and knowing that I'm going to have to speak to Regan next week and explain if I've had a crap day or whatever. So it's just easier to stick to plan, so I don't have to explain anything.
The connection's gone.
But that's one of the good things. One of the other things I've found being no, you all right?
The connection's a bit sketchy. I just don't know if you're live now. I think you're live now. Oh, my connection's not good. It just told me. That's funny. Can you hear me live now?
No, mine says live. I can hear you. Yeah.
It says it's mine. Mine's normally good. So let's carry on. I forgot where I was going to go. What were you saying? There, go on.
I was just saying, being a dad, a couple of kids working from home, my wife working from home, having to schedule everything around about that. Whether it's me working in the morning or me working in the afternoon and vice versa, my wife's walking around after that, and managing activities with the kids, having every workout planned for me, and knowing exactly what I've got to do. I don't need to find the time to plan a workout or what I'm going to do. I just need to look at the app, and that's what I'm doing for the day, and then fit it in round about everything else. And the other plus of that, the other pro of that, is that that also keeps me accountable, because I see it flash up on my phone. I've got to do this, and it just makes me do it. I feel guilty if I think like, when motivation's been waning and I think I could just skip it. I actually don't, because I would feel bad, because I know I've got to do it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think of it. I can't think of anything that's negative or anything like that at the moment. Yeah. So
Perfect answer. The answer I wanted to hear.
I know you can give me the 50 quid later.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk about the goals. You've smashed it 3 stone down. I think I jotted down, we got 117 kilos, which is 18.5 stone.
Yeah.
We're going to do that by mid-March is our not long-term, that's kind of a short-term goal, which should be on track. If it's as we are normally doing, around 1 kilo a week, should be spot on. I think we're just going to try and head for that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I think we set a longer term one for July, I think.
107, which I don't know what it is in stone.
Oh, 16.7 or 16.5, something like that.
Let me check. 107. 16.8, which is 16.9 pounds. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a kind of longer term goal, which I think I said to you the other day. I've not been in 8, that'll be 8 years since I've been that weight.
Amazing.
So yeah. It's big goals, it's big amounts of weight, but I think, like I said before, I'm not thinking about it like that. I'm just thinking about losing £1 or £2 a week.
Yeah.
And I know I'll get there because, if I just stop now, then I'll just be where I am or worse. So that's all I think about. It's just next week weigh-in, doing well today, doing well tomorrow, next week's weigh-in, and not think about July and being that weight. Then I just know that if I keep doing what I'm doing, then I'll get there.
Every journey starts with the first step.
Yeah.
And if I said to you, right, you're going to join my plan and you're going to be 16.5 stone in 6 months, cool, see you later, mate. Like, it would be almost like, well, where the hell do I go now? And
it's overwhelming to think about it like that. It is, and I would say that's definitely how I felt at the start of things. Like to be overwhelmed, to think, how do I lose 6 stones? No idea. You wouldn't have an idea. I wouldn't anyway. And I've got the idea now, and it's just sticking to it.
Perfect, awesome. I'm going to check on the old Facebook to see if we got any questions from the guys in my group. If you're listening, you're not in the group, just search Regan's Rugby First Team and join the gang. Let's see, no questions, but I got Tim Greedy saying fair play, huge weight loss. So cheers, Tim. I think you're still watching now, so cheers, Tim. If anyone's got questions after, comment, and Craig's in the group. Oh no, he's not on Facebook. I'll tell him the questions and he can reply. But I think that's about it. I really appreciate giving us your time, Craig, sharing your story and telling us where you were and the process to where you are now. Yeah, we talk every week, and I think it's just onwards and upwards and just sticking to the plan.
Definitely.
Any little remarks before we go?
No, nothing. Sorry.
Awesome. No, sorry, that's all right. I put you on the spot there. But yeah, cheers for listening. If you want to know more, you can just Google Regan's Rugby and just find my website, or I'm actually more active on Facebook. You can just find me, search Regan Phillips and add me as a friend. I put content out every day. And if you have questions, you can email me and ask, and I'll ask Craig directly or whatever. But yeah, cheers for listening, and hope you have a good day. Speak to you soon.